When you think of a god of wealth, what comes to mind? Probably someone who's born into luxury, surrounded by gold and treasures, someone who creates wealth. But what if one of Hinduism's most famous wealth gods has a backstory which is complete opposite of glamorous? There is a fascinating story about Kuber, the treasurer of the gods. This story claims that in a past life, he wasn't a king or a rich man. He was a gambling addict who was beaten to death for stealing. This is the story of how a man's last desperate act might have turned him into the divine banker of the heavens. The word Kuber means deformed. But how did he end up like that? Stay with me till the end to find out the fascinating story of fate and karma. Before we dive into this mind bending tale, please make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon, and join the tribe of mystics and storytellers who seek ancient wisdom in a modern world. And it is your support that is going to make this channel even better. Now, if you try to picture Kuber, you're thinking of pure opulence. He is the treasurer of the gods, the guardian of the north direction, and the king of the mystical yakshas, the nature spirits who guard the hidden treasures of the earth. Kuber's lineage itself is a fascinating tale of cosmic forces. Through the line of Brahma, the creator god, and Pulastya Prajapati, with his father being the great sage Vishravas. And this is why Kuber is also known as Vishravana. And this makes him half brother to the most infamous villain in all of the Hindu epics, Ravana. And Kuber's city is called Alakapuri and is located in the Himalayas. It is described as a place of incredible glory. He moved there after his half brother Ravana threw him out of the original golden city of Lanka. The belief is that while Lakshmi creates wealth, Kuber protects and manages it, making sure that there is abundance in the universe. But this divine image may be holding a dark and violent past, and that is a story which doesn't start in a heavenly palace, but in shame and desperation on this very earth. According to Shiva Purana, in the city of Kampilya, there lived a holy Brahmin named Yajnadatta. He had a son named Gunanidhi. Now, Gunanidhi means someone who's full of good gunas or attributes. He was very handsome, and everyone had high hopes for him. And Gunanidhi was sent to a teacher to learn the holy scriptures. But at some point, Gunanidhi started hanging out with the wrong crowd. He developed a terrible addiction that would ruin his life: gambling. And what began as a secret hobby soon took over his whole life. Gunanidhi lied to his mother, stole from his own family. All the good qualities his name suggested were washed away by this one bad habit he had, and he ignored his duties. However, his mother tried to protect him, and despite knowing about Gunanidhi's vices, hid it from the father Yajnadatta. Once, he even sold his father's valuable ring to pay for his gambling, and eventually the truth came out. His father, Yajnadatta, found out about his son's betrayal when he found the ring in the hand of a gambler. Heartbroken and ashamed, the father, Yajnadatta, disowned Gunanidhi and threw him out of the house. And suddenly, Gunanidhi was homeless, without friends, and starving. The son of a respected priest was now a wanderer, haunted by the life he had thrown away. For days, Gunanidhi wandered around, tormented by extreme hunger. And one evening, as the sun was setting, he came across a temple for Lord Shiva. And this wasn't just any ordinary night, it was Shivaratri, the most holy night for Shiva's followers. And from outside the temple, Gunanidhi could smell the fragrant food being prepared as offerings for the Lord Shiva. The people were fasting, and the smell of the food offerings tempted Gunanidhi. And to be honest, being religious was the last thing on Gunanidhi's mind. His only thought was to steal that food which was meant for Shiva. Gunanidhi joined the worshippers of Shiva, sang his songs, chanted Shiva's mantras, and waited for everyone to fall asleep. Late in the night, Gunanidhi snuck into the temple's inner room, focused on the offerings which are in front of the Shivalingam. The room was dark, with just one oil lamp burning, and its flame was about to go out. And in order to see the food better, Gunanidhi needed more light. He tore a piece of cloth from his own dirty clothes, made a new wick, and put it in the lamp, making the flame bright again. And at that moment, All he cared about was seeing his prize, the food which he was about to steal. He had no idea that by keeping the lamp lit on the holy night of Shivaratri, he had accidentally performed a sacred ritual. Now Gunanidhi stole the food, and with the food in hand, he tried to escape. But he was in such a hurry that he tripped over a sleeping devotee who woke up screaming. Suddenly, the whole temple was awake. Thief! Catch him, thief! All of them started shouting. And Gunanidhi couldn't eat the food as he ran for his life. But the temple guards caught him easily and then beat him to death. Now, this is where the story takes an interesting turn. Once Gunanidhi died, his soul was ready to be taken. And immediately, messengers of Yama, the god of death, had appeared to drag Gunanidhi's soul to Yamaloka for a life of sin. But just as they were about to leave with Gunanidhi's soul, they were stopped by Shiva's Bhutaganas, the divine attendants of Lord Shiva. The Bhutaganas demanded that Gunanidhi be released, saying that his soul had been cleaned. The Ganas argued that on the holy night of Shivaratri, he had unknowingly fasted, heard the sacred mantras, and most importantly, lit the lamp for Lord Shiva and didn't allow a shadow to fall on the Shivalinga. They said that the single accidental act of devotion had erased all his sins. And after a cosmic argument, the grace of Lord Shiva won. Gunanidhi was saved from getting punished and he was taken by the Ganas to Shiva's abode. And in the next life, he was reborn as King Dama of Kalinga. And as Dama, Gunanidhi continued his devotion to Shiva. But the ego of wealth and power still lingered. Once he performed a penance so hard that Shiva and Parvati appeared before him. He looked at Parvati with a greedy eye. And Parvati, seeing the darkness in his look, didn't curse him to be ruined, but instead taught him a lesson that he would never forget. In a flash, his left eye burst, leaving him with only one eye forever. His body was twisted, deformed, and from this moment on, he would be known as Ekakshi Pingala, the one-eyed, yellow-eyed god. This painful and humbling experience was the last part of his journey. Lord Shiva was pleased that he had surrendered finally. Shiva made him the guardian of all the world's treasures. He became the divine treasurer, the lord of wealth. But there was a very important distinction. He was not the creator of wealth. That job belongs to goddess Lakshmi. He was meant to be its custodian, its protector and manager. This role was a responsibility, not just a privilege. Kuber was given control over the beautiful city of Alaka and made king of the Yakshas by Shiva. So, what does this fascinating story really teach us about wealth? Let me know what you think in the comments. And be sure to like and subscribe for more untold stories and lesser known stories from our Puranas and folklore. In the next video, I will tell you how Kuber was initially the ruler of Lanka and later displaced by his half brother Ravan. And until then, may Kuber be with you.